Hi, this is Gemini, a new search engine that deduplicates news articles and enhances your reading experience. To use the application, you simply have to run all the cells in this Colab notebook with your input parameters. Detailed steps have been mentioned in the GitHub repository. For the sake of brevity, I have already run the application with certain search parameters. Let us have a look at the results and discuss each step. First, we have installed all the required libraries. We are now fetching news articles from an API called Newscatcher. The search term I have used is Russia versus Ukraine war. You can replace this. We are then converting the retrieved data into a data frame for AC processing. Next, we are establishing a connection to our tiger graph instance and creating a schema. This is what the schema looks like after creation. We are now going to enrich our dataset with useful additional information using three NLP models. The first one is semantic search, being used on the summaries of news articles to determine how close or similar to news articles are. This will determine whether a news article is an anchor news, that is, a hypernode, or simply a related news to an already existing hypernode. The second NLP model is for sentiment analysis. We will later see how this can be used to associate sentiment with a particular country. The final NLP model is for keyword extraction. We are extracting three most significant keywords from every news article. This is useful for finding relationship between various news articles. All this metadata has now been successfully added by executing these cells. Next, we create the graph using PyTiger graph library and connect to it. We can now load data into the graph. A threshold value for similarity is selected and a custom loading job is then used to upsert all the data to our graph. Have a look at the results of this cell to understand how the relationships between the various entities in our schema are being created in real time. As we can see, a new hypernode is being created whenever a news article is substantially different from the existing hypernodes. At the end, we have seven such hypernodes. Here are some pictures of the graph data after uploading. We can now move on to the visualization and inference phase where we can mine interesting information. Here is some basic information about the uploaded graph data. Using pathfinding algorithm, we are able to find how the countries US and Spain, for example, are related to each other with respect to the news at hand. Here are the images for the shortest path found and all possible paths. Let us now analyze country sentiment for a given news. Upon executing a custom query, we are able to conclude that for our search term, many US articles have a negative sentiment. We then go on to generate an overall summary by combining the information of our hypernodes. Here is the result. This is the result. We will also visualize this in a better way in a few moments using a website. As a final part of our analysis, we are using centrality and similarity algorithms to determine an order for our hypernodes and similarity between various hypernodes respectively. You can look at the execution outputs of these cells to understand what is happening. Finally, we save and download the information we just mined. We can now display this on a website. In this website, we are displaying all the anchor news along with the IDs of news articles relevant to these hypernodes. For example, this one. These IDs can now be used to dig deep into a particular opinion regarding the news search term. For example, here is a sample news ID. Click on the search button. And here is the information relevant to the search ID. Gemini is trying to solve a pressing and ever existent problem. I believe it has the potential to help people obtain eclectic information and form unbiased opinions. Thank you.